Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here. My name's Brian. And today I'm going to talk about some recent Warner Archive Blu-ray releases. But before I get into that, I just wanted to note that there is a sale happening right now in conjunction with a website called MovieZing. That's MovieZyng.com. And this sale is going on through Friday, March 31st. And the sale is for 4 single disc releases for $49 and an additional $12.25 for each additional Blu-ray title on top of that. And it looks like the most recent titles that are included in this sale are from December. So everything from Warner Archive from December and previous, I believe, will be part of this sale. Shipping is about $5.96 for 4 titles and 99 cents for each additional title. So effectively, 4 standard price titles will cost $55.96 or about $13.99 each, which is a pretty good price for a lot of these. Cheaper than you can get them for the most part. So anyway, I just wanted to note that at the top. Definitely check out the Warner Archive sale that's happening right now. Now, these titles I'm going to talk about are, of course, not included in the sale because they are brand new titles, or relatively so. But okay, let's start with my favorite of the bunch. This is Flamingo Road from 1949. And this film is directed by the great Michael Curtiz. And it stars, as you can see, Joan Crawford. But it also stars Sidney Greenstreet and Zachary Scott and others. It's a pretty darn good movie and one that I feel like a lot of people don't know. The back of the disc talks about the popular string of melodramas that this film is continuing and how Joan Crawford made her Oscar-winning Mildred Pierce at Warner Brothers, and that she now is reteaming with a lot of her collaborators from that film, including director Michael Curtiz, producer Jerry Wald, co-star Zachary Scott, and this one is about a hard-edged carnival dancer who has a soft spot for a budding politician, Fielding Carlisle. That's Zachary Scott. Enter Titus Semple, the sheriff, Sidney Greenstreet, a political kingmaker who oozes malevolence from every pore and whose plans for Carlisle don't include a romance with a girl from the wrong side of the tracks. He frames her for streetwalking charges, but eventually she'll walk over him. Essential viewing for any Crawford fan. Agreed. It's one of my favorite Joan Crawford movies. This small town has a carnival. At the beginning, we see that the guy running the carnival owes somebody money that he hasn't paid back in several years. It's a loan, and he's like, I just need a little more time. And the guy's like, nope, I'm going to go get the sheriff right now, and I'm going to own your carnival. So the carnival zips out of town, but Joan Crawford's character decides to stick around. And that could be bad news for her because this particular town is run by a very, again, as the back says, malevolent, very evil sheriff played so well by Sidney Greenstreet, who, by the way, if you are a fan of his, and I am a huge fan, I just love the idea that he didn't start acting until he was 62 years old. So he didn't make a ton of films because he was 62 when he started. But the stuff he made really stands out. And I would say this is among his best stuff. I mean, right up there with Maltese Falcon. It's a different kind of character. He's not as charmingly malevolent as he is in Maltese Falcon and or Casablanca. He's just downright evil. Just has a scowl on his face the whole movie pretty much. And boy, does he just nail it. Just really interesting sheriff character that is very reminiscent for me of the sheriff that Orson Welles would go on to play in Touch of Evil 9 years later. I don't know that this film is an influence on that in any way, but there's part of me that always thinks maybe, but we've seen this kind of character before, but this is one of the best iterations of that kind of character. So the sheriff sends his deputy, played by Zachary Scott, to serve the papers on the carnival. He goes there. He only finds a small tent with Joan Crawford in it. She's decided to stay behind, and he takes a liking to her. They immediately sort of have a chemistry, and he takes her to get dinner at the local cafe and gets her a job at the local cafe, and she even gets a roommate and a room with one of the other waitresses at the cafe. But Sidney Greenstreet is not happy about it and definitely lets him know, and as the back says, has political aspirations for the Zachary Scott character, through which he'll receive some nice payola for county projects, and there's a whole thing about using county prisoners, which get paid $1 a day, but he gets $1.50 a day, and so they're lots of little side graft deals that he's involved with, and he doesn't like her. He sees her as literally from the wrong side of the tracks, which is where this carnival was set up, and doesn't get along with her, and so they're kind of at odds, and it's kind of how is it going to play out, ultimately is the question, and it plays out in a really fascinating and wonderfully dramatic way. So Joan Crawford, Sidney Greenstreet going head to head in Flamingo Road. Very exciting release from Warner Archive. Looks fantastic. Black and white, 1:3:1. Another beautiful transfer from Warner Archive. That's one thing that is in common with any Warner Archive release I've encountered, is the transfer is impeccable. And the folks at Warner Archives, Warner Brothers Motion Picture Imaging, or whoever does their restorations, truly the top of their game. Always great stuff. This disc includes a featurette on Joan Crawford at Warner Brothers, breakdown of films from 1949, classic cartoon, Curtain Raiser, an audio-only bonus, a radio adaptation with the film's stars. So it's got some nice little extra features there. But this is a high recommend for me. Flamingo Road, definitely worth your time. Next up, we have Neptune's Daughter. This is an Esther Williams movie. And it is from 1949 as well. And it is about a woman, sort of a championship swimmer, award-winning, trophy-winning swimmer who, here, I'll just do with my ideas, her face and figure will be a cinch, says Keenan Wynn, as he and Esther Williams team up in a lucrative bathing suit business. In the romance department, it's Esther and Ricardo Montalban, while her scatterbrained sister, Betty Garnett, ends up with Red Skelton. The ensuing wackiness includes Skelton's classic horse mounting scene, plus his ill-fated attempt to fit into a girls' water ballet. Xavier Cugat and his orchestra are on hand to supply rumba rhythms, complete with pretty girls and wind machines and voodoo. Sparkling dance numbers abound, with songs from Frank Loesser, including the Oscar-winning Baby It's Cold Outside. Most of all, there is Esther Williams diving and dancing and running her business and her love life so well that the Los Angeles Times rated this musical comedy the most entertaining of all aquatic spectacles in which Esther Williams has appeared. And she did a lot of aquatic adjacent films. And this one's, very charming, beautiful color. And I don't think this is widescreen. I want to say this is a 4:3. Yeah, 1:37:1 transfer, but beautiful color, just looks gorgeous in this transfer, and the musical numbers are that much more lavish and enjoyable in this presentation. Red Skelton, pretty funny, pretty goofy in this, and Mark Montalban as smooth as ever in this one, of course, and is Keenan Wynn, who I'm a big fan of. I love just about any Keenan Wynn role is enjoyable for me. Special features include Betty Garrett outtake musical number, I Want My Money Back, vintage MGM cartoon, Hatch Up Your Troubles, vintage MGM short, Water Tricks, theatrical trailer, promotional radio interview with Esther Williams and Dick Simmons, and more. So a beautiful transfer of Neptune's Daughter, big one for Esther Williams fans, and I'm becoming one of those. More and more of her films I get to see on Blu-ray. So this is Neptune's Daughter from 1949. Next up we have Camille with Greta Garbo and Lionel Barrymore. And this one is from 1936, and it's directed by the great George Cukor. So we got some really, big time directors here, and Michael Curtiz and George Cukor. This one is set in 1847 in Paris. Life in 1847 Paris is as spirited as champagne and as unforgiving as the gray morning after. In gambling dens and lavish soirees, men of means exert their wills on women turned courtesans, and women turned courtesans exult in pleasure. One such woman is Marguerite Gautier, who begins a sumptuous romance with Armand Duval. That is, of course, Greta Garbo, and in this case, Robert Taylor. This one, again, 1936. Camille is the Camille of this sumptuous romance tale is based on the enduring Alexandre Dumas story. Garbo's aloof mystique and alabaster beauty illuminate this George Cukor-directed film, featuring what many call her finest performance. Her Camille is a movie paragon of true love found in suitor Armand Duval, memorably played by Robert Taylor, then sacrificed for a greater good. Garbo earned an Academy Award nomination and the New York Film Critics Circle Best Actress Award for her memorable work. So this one, another 137-1 transfer, and includes 1921 silent version of the film as well, with Alla Nazimova and Rudolph Valentino, and audio bonus, Leo is on the air radio promo, as well as a reissued trailer. So that is Camille, a new Blu-ray of a George Cukor film with Greta Garbo and Robert Taylor. And then lastly, we have I'll Cry Tomorrow with Susan Hayward. And this film is from 1955 and directed by Daniel Mann. And it is the frank, revealing story of Lillian Roth's life, bestseller, now film sensation. Deprived of a normal childhood, her ambitious mother, Lillian Roth, Lillian Roth becomes a star of Broadway and Hollywood before she's 20. Shortly before her marriage, her childhood sweetheart, David Treadman, played by Ray Danton. He dies, and Lillian takes her first drink of many down the road of becoming an alcoholic. Film also stars Richard Conte, Eddie Albert, and the back says Lillian Roth has it all: youth, beauty, movie and Broadway fame, and a devoted fiance. Then her fiance dies, and Lillian takes one drink to ease her grief, then another, then 10, then thousands. and soon her youth, career, and life are drowning in an ocean of booze. Susan Hayward earned a Best Actor nomination and a Cannes Film Festival Best Actress award for her searing portrayal of the real-life performer. Hayward's achievements don't stop there. She provides her own vocals for Sing You Sinners, Happiness is a Thing Called Joe, and more standards. I'll Cry Tomorrow is everything a movie biography should be, says Leonard Maltin. When Life, straight up. So a very heavy and dramatic performance from the great Susan Hayward. Included on this one, this is a 185 transfer. Let's see here. Vintage Lillian Roth musical short story conference. 3 excerpts from MGM Parade TV series. Vintage newsreel excerpts covering the movie's premiere and accolades. So that is I'll Cry Tomorrow with Susan Hayward. So you can check these out and purchase them from Amazon, the store over there, the Warner Archive store. You can get them. These do go on sale from time to time if you keep an eye on the store. But as I said, check out that Movie Zing sale till the end of this week and pick up some older Warner Archive titles that you've perhaps missed and been holding off picking up, because there's a lot of good stuff in this catalog and a lot of stuff to enjoy. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.